It says in your programs that I'm here to talk to you today about the battle of our bodies throughout history. Well, I was a really angry girl when I wrote that. You see, I just read this book, Caliban and the Witch by Silvia Federici. And it basically talks about how a greedy elite have cooperated to sort of oppress the poor over history, and it's happened for thousands of years. And there's been a resistance. So basically, I just learned that history was a bloodbath. And somehow I didn't expect it, not sure. But it hammered home something that I'd already known in my heart of hearts. Basically, that I'm probably not going to save the world in my lifetime, no matter how much I wanted to. And I'm sure that, like me, you all at some point had dreams that you were going to make the world a better place through your actions, whether it be as a scientist or an astronaut or a ballerina, or in my case, getting up on the battlefield, giving everyone a big hug and sorting out world peace over a cup of tea. But at some point, these dreams, they get put to the side and we start looking for a mortgage, trying to just get a job to support ourselves. This other stuff, it goes out the window. Why is that? So my talk today, it is about this battle throughout history, but it's sort of about the tug of war that created the society that forged our personalities and how we owe it to ourselves to do what we love. See, the history of the world is the history of what lets us be the greatest versions of ourselves. But to be the greatest versions of ourselves, we have to overcome whatever it is that's holding us back. And what better way to talk about that than an analogy about awkward British people. In spring, I had to take a ride with a girl that I'd never met before. We were worlds apart. She was a friend of a friend, but we couldn't be any more different. Sorry, guys. Grammar goes out the window when you're scared of things. But we connected on a really great level because we'd both been trying out this really incredible meditation technique called Vipassana. You spend 10 days in silence. However, she had noticed this unique part of the market where British people, because in silence in 10 days, we freak out so much that unlike anywhere else in the world, we need therapy alongside this meditation technique. And this was something about us. And I'm sure if I asked each and every one of you in this room why you think people in this country are so particularly awkward, you'd all have a different theory. See, some of my friends pointed out stiff upper lip stoicism and how that makes us repress absolutely everything instead of dealing with our problems. And I think about individualism, how we're all expected to be perfect, to have everything, and yet we're flawed. I eat too much and I watch too much TV, and I really could go on, but I won't. Instead, I'm going to move on to talking about things that could help us. I want to talk today about a concept that is being celebrated increasingly around the world. This is Japanese ikigai. It looks a bit like this. It's a pretty simple formula. It's broken down into 4 parts. It's doing what you love, doing what you're good at, doing what you can be paid for, and doing what the world needs. It's from Okinawa culture. So in this culture, iki means life and kai means the realization of what one expects and hopes for. And here, this concept is part of the fabric of a happy and fulfilled life. Anthropologists kind of have observed it in Japan as, this down here, Okinawa, Japan up here, as this sort of post-war effort of building citizenship. And this means that the meaning of your personality is intertwined with your society. In the UK, we're not going to be part of any big citizenship building project. That's not on our agenda. So instead, ikigai has been marketed to us as fulfilling your life through your individual purpose, your well-being, your health. And cultural appropriation, that's not necessarily a good thing. However, what I think this highlights about British people instead is a good thing. And it's something that as a girl I'm really thankful for. You see, we've come a really long way from 50 years ago, where I would not have been allowed to have the job I love, the partner I love, and then to go home and live like an absolute spinster watching TV and eating pizza and all that kind of stuff that I kind of like. But we fought really, really hard to get to where we are as people. And we're still fighting today. You see, today I can do what I want to do instead of what I have to do to survive. And in the whole history of the world, that's quite unusual. See, this is kind of etched onto the history of our landscapes as well as onto our own lives. I grew up in Lincolnshire, and I'm really interested in herbalism. And that's part of the map of Lincoln. See, if you walk down Monk's Road, those of you who know where Monk's Road is, it's kind of just across the park, across Lindholm Hill. Anyway, there's Rosemary Lane. Rosemary Lane is called this because that's where monks used to grow medicine in their herbal garden. This is the Tithe Barn. If you cross the Usher Park again, you go up Greystone Steps, you'll see this kind of old barn that's been integrated into the modern college. But that's where, for what little you could give, you would receive your medicine for the plague. Lincoln Cathedral overlooks the whole city. It sees what's going on, and yet at its foot is where the victims of the plague have been laid to rest. However, as a woman, I would not have been invited to be a part of the medicinal narrative which was trying to battle the plague, one of the greatest killers of our time, well, of time. I would have been burned at the stake as a witch. See, why was half of the population just sort of excluded from a narrative that was so important? Today, I don't have to worry about that. See, if I'm sick, I can go to the doctor. I'm thankful for the NHS. I'm thankful for employees' rights that mean that I don't have to work a 90-hour week. I'm thankful for when my friends fall down that they can turn to the welfare state. But this is stuff that we've had to fight for. And if we don't cherish it, we can lose it. Last winter, I spent a night sleeping in a church supervising as the church threw open its doors to welcome in homeless people. You see, in that part of London, homelessness is up by 1/3 every year. In Lincoln, on any given night, if you walk from the Stone Bow to the Straight and Narrow, there is a person in every single doorway that needs your help. See, why can I stand up here and talk about how great society is and how we're working towards our greater ikigai when I am so mindful of the suffering that is around us? Let's return to this concept. See, it only feels good when you fulfill all of these things, not just what you can be paid for or what you're good at, but also doing what the world needs. If we return to Vipassana and this idea that we kind of suffer when we're confronted with ourselves in silence, I want to say that deprivation of a home isn't the only kind of deprivation you have. You see, when you see someone that needs your help and you choose to do nothing, that has a profound impact on you, but it has a profound impact on the society as well. You see, policies that penalise the poor, workfare, universal credit, Section 21, these are all signs that not enough of us stand up anymore and say, no, this isn't good enough. If we don't do this, then this might continue. See, it's hard to put your head above the parapet, but I'm not saying that necessarily you need to do that alone. Use the tools that I give you today and the tools that I know that you have inside of yourselves. Be happy, question your own actions, even if it is just for your own well-being. If you do what you truly want to do, you will fulfill your social action ikigai. I hope that in future I can do that, and I'd be honoured if you'd join me.